Yes, sir. Yes. All right. Welcome everybody to the final five tribal council of Spellbound Survivor Charmed. In a challenge of Mastermind, Jason had won Final Five immunity, a 1 in 4 shot at winning this game. I'm going to start the questionnaire with you, Jason. How's it feel to win immunity? It's so close to the end. Obviously it feels really good.
Great. I'd never seen the challenge tours, but once I got the hang of it, I was like, oh, this is cool. So it feels awesome and it feels nice to just be in the final four. So yay. Yay luck.
Yes, indeed. Um, my next question is going to go to Allie. This is technically speaking, we're looking at statistics and whatnot. The odds, there's a 1 in 4 shot that it's you going home tonight. So how scary is that? Now we're going to do both sides of the coin. Obviously, there's the security that Jason feels right now. He's the only one that who for sure will not be leaving this tribal council. So it's nerve-wracking, I would assume.
Oh yeah, it's definitely nerve-wracking, especially when there's very few people to be voted for. And I mean, I don't know how many powers there are besides the seal of vote, because like none have really been used, all merge. Um, but you never know, like, I mean, people have said they're not voting for me, but like you never know what goes on behind closed doors, so it's definitely scary overall.
My next question goes to Sam. You weren't at the last tribal council, but so essentially the theme was that we were talking about just the jury and how that there are more people in Ponderosa than there are people still in game, and this thought that there are five potential candidates to win at the end. It's not just there's these big threats and then there's goats. There are five, albeit different routes, presumably to get to final two, but all five with equal merit, and how we were able to accentuate from one game to another is going to be very difficult because all of them have played strong games. So I guess now is my opportunity to finally get your thoughts on that. If it's a bloodbath and it really is the best of the best that's left here, how do you go about making the moves that you make here on out?
Um, you just have to do what's best for you. I say everyone's played a good game. Everyone's game's got merits. Everyone's got a chance to win. I think some people have got more chance than others. And my thing is to not make the same mistake I made in the past and let the threats get to the end.
Yep, and my next question goes to Jay There's many different ways you can perceive a threat. You can look at somebody who's influenced and been the strategic mastermind throughout the entire game and gotten a lot of sway. There could be a threat in just sheer likability, their charisma, that there's a lot of people on the jury who love this person. There's many different ways to measure someone's threat level. So my next question is like just what is the bigger threat of those two, if there is, or is it more so equal?
I think it's a little bit more like it depends on what you think the jury is going to value over there. Wait, can you hear me?
You're a little bit muffled, but like we can hear.
No,
Uh,
that okay. I think it's a little bit complicated because it just depends on what you think the jury is going to value over there. It could be the strength of game you played and how much control they think you've had or control you've actually had, or it can just be how they feel about a certain person, and if they like you more than the other person there, you might be getting their vote. So it just depends on your perception and what you think the jury's perception actually is and what their perception was when they also went out the game.
Well, okay. My next question is going to go to Jason again. talks about just what is the jury going to value, aside from maybe Kevin, who seemed very blindsided at his vote off, and everyone else seems to take their eliminations at least somewhat in stride, whether they anticipated it or not. They kind of left saying, "I love all of you, I respect all of you, best of luck." Yeah. So if the jury isn't bitter, what do you I guess I'm going to just translate my question from Jay to you. So, do you think they're going to value more just the strategic game of things, or just which person they like more?
Okay. First of all, I thought you said heaven and not heaven. That's why I was confused for a second. Um, it's like you really don't know until you're sorry, you're either like in Ponderosa or you're in the end. You never know what the jury is going to value because it varies every time what people value. Especially for me, I not knowing hardly anyone on the jury, I don't know what they value and what they want a winner to be. So every time it's going to be different. Just like on the actual show, you never know who's going to win. Like there's been surprises just because of the different ways the jury values different finalists. So you never really know until it's the end of the game.
All right, my next question goes to Ali. Um, Final five, final four. Um, hmm. I think the big question is, what question should I ask? I think that's the biggest question of all. I'm running out of things to ask. I'm running out of things to say at this point because I have to ask everyone 2 questions from here on out. Just like buy some time. So like, how was your day, Ali? What'd you do today? How was life? How's family? How are the kids?
Oh, everyone's great, lovely. I mean, I've had a chill day besides this last little bit. It's been pretty stressful trying to figure out this tribal, so that's fun.
Okay, perfect. I need some inspiration. So this is my actual legitimate game question to you. What's the vibe been around the camp? Like, I'm assuming it's quiet because there's 5 people, but is it quiet because there's only 5 people around to talk to you, or is it quiet because there's some scheming going wrong along and some scheming going on that you are not a part of?
A little bit of both. Like, there's probably scheming, but then it's also quiet too because people are just so busy.
Well, I bet my next question goes to Sam. Because someone mentioned earlier that there had been no advantages, like aside from the one that were openly, publicly bid on during the Greed Challenge back in the pre-merge. There's no, granted, there may be some speculation, some skepticism about the whereabouts of advantages, but there has been none in play up until this point. And if we were to use that as reference, they would expire tonight. So are you expecting more trinkets being finally we're going to see advantages being played tonight?
Well, it'd be exciting if things were played, wouldn't it? Um, pass. Next question.
Do you want me to give you another question, or is that just my response and then you just go to J1? I give him
Just give it to me, baby.
I gave it to you and you said pass, Sam.
I thought we were playing Jeopardy. Give me another one.
Okay, well, so there have not been powers played yet up until this point. And aside from when we were publicly tempting you all with powers of some sorts, there have not been any powers that were activated during the elimination ceremonies. Do you think, presumably, because we did say that these powers would die at the final 5, that we're going to finally see some powers come out tonight? That was a totally different pass. Well, shit. Okay, we tried it. I tried to reword the question, rebrand it. It clearly did not work.
No. I think what I said before. No, I think it would be exciting if something was played tonight. I think we haven't seen much being played. In my last couple of games, there was tons played, and it was terrifying, but also quite exhilarating. So you never know.
And so my last question is going to go to J1, because I think when you look at like, oh, we need big moves. That's a huge thing of new era Survivor. You got to make big moves. You got to improve that resume when you get to the end. And I think a really good way to accomplish that are by the advantages that are in Star. Maybe using it defensively, trying to protect yourself. You would have gone home, you use an idol, you idle somebody out, snipe somebody with an idol or an advantage in their pocket. We haven't really seen any powers in play, therefore there's likely weren't any powers at leverage either. So if that method of making big moves is off the table, are there big moves to be made? How do you make big moves?
I mean, if we're going with what was said last tribal council, with everybody is a threat in some sort of way, there everything left is a big move. Essentially, it's just how it weighs in your game and how it fares for you. And essentially, like a big move for me might look different to a big move for somebody else that's left. So I guess you just have to weigh it and take into consideration everything else that, like you said, like even though we haven't seen advantages be used, they still could be out there. They were still available to get. So just have to take that into consideration as well when you're making these type of moves.
All right, but and granted, for all we know, maybe the jury isn't even looking for big moves. Maybe it's those subtle, those more low key, under the radar maneuvers that are going to garner you the respect at the end of the game. It's about how efficient or how effective that these moves are. Yeah, sure, you can make this big, boisterous move, do what you can to impress the jury or entertain them. But if that's not what's best for your game and that's what the jury is looking for, then it's this constant balancing act of what you think is best for your game, what would most satisfy you as a player and as a fan of the show, but also what the jury is going to respect and reward at the end of the day. Because at the end of the at least one of the people on this call will be at Final Tribal Council as a finalist. It's just a matter of who. Maybe it's two of you. No, Morgan's not here. But with that being said, what I would usually say is that it's time to vote. But Morgan, in her absence, has decided to play her steal a vote. As you know, that we have tempted you all with powers, advantages, whatnot. Morgan has decided to activate her power and steal Allie's vote, meaning that Morgan now has 2 votes and Allie has no votes. This isn't a control of vote situation. So Morgan controls 2 votes. They are now both in her possession. Allie, you will not be casting your vote, but now is the time to vote. Everyone send it in, lock in your votes, rechange your votes, and shout people out and whatnot.
Shout out to my prod guests, Morgan Collins and Grace. Love you guys.
Is it too late to get a prod guest?
Shout out to my proud guest, Victoria.
Has she been more active this time, Ali?
Not lately.
I saw it was the last one. I was like, she's not been very active. I was like, oh bless her. Cam must have her tied up again.
Well, all right. I have all the votes. If anybody has a hidden immunity idol or an advantage that they would like to play, now is the time to do so. All right. The window has closed. least we got something out of tonight's tribal. With that being said, I will read the votes. The person who has received the most votes for just as a few moments to gather his, her, or their belongings and get the hell off my island. First vote. Jay. Morgan. Allie. That's one vote Jay, one vote Morgan, one vote Allie. Jay. That's two votes Jay, one vote Allie, one vote Morgan. Allie. We have a tie. Two votes Allie, two votes Jay, one vote Morgan. Here's how this is going to work. Allie, Jay, since both of you are in the tie, you two will not cast your votes. Sam, Jason, and Morgan, however, they will be in the tie. Cast your votes, please. All right. I have the revotes as well. Same thing applies. The person has been voted off just has a few moments to gather his or her belongings and get the hell off my island. First vote. Jay. It's one vote, Jay. 14th person voted off. Spellbound Survivor Charmed. And the 7th member of our jury. Jay. That is two. And tonight, that is enough. Jay, if you have any final words, by all means, you can unmute. Now's your time to speak. Or not. I guess you could do that, technically speaking. Well, with that abrupt departure, congratulations to the three of you and Morgan when you do watch this on making it to the final four. We will be giving you some details about the upcoming challenge. We will schedule accordingly because we may or may not need all four of you in attendance at the same time. So we're going to try to figure that out tomorrow and today. Best of luck to everybody.